Welcome back to Drive Life Thoughts. Tonight, this afternoon, we're going to talk about the shockwave. The shockwave of the impact that happens with relationships dissolving or relationships getting together, because there's actually, no matter which direction it goes, you have the shockwave. Anyways, so when we're referring to this particular phenomenon, what we're referring to is, let's take a basic relationship dissolving. We have person A and person B, and the relationship splits up. And you have the person that dumped the other person. I'm assuming it's not amicable. Okay, we're gonna go with that. It's not a good time. The one person does not want to break up, and the other person, obviously wants to keep working and staying together. So the dynamic shift is different. So each side has its own set of problems, which we refer to in other videos. But what we're focusing on here is the idea of what happens when you have this life change and how it affects those around you. And that's kind of where people seem to have this misunderstanding that just because you break up doesn't mean it affects everyone around you. Okay, so let's start with that. Let's start with the breakup. Okay, so we're split up now. So we will say in this regard that the man breaks up with a woman. Okay, so we'll do that. Man breaks up with a woman. So he leaves her. He's all upset. He says, I don't want to deal with your crap anymore. And for whatever reason, the relationship dissolved. He was mad at her because she didn't, make his sandwich the right way. Or, she didn't keep the house clean enough. Or, whatever stupid reason it is. Okay? And then you have her side. Well, I tried to be the best woman that I could. He just takes advantage of me. Or, he's always been kind of a dick. And even though I love him so much, I really wish things would work out because, we could make it happen. We were truly in love. We were a perfect couple. Okay. So you got her wanting to be with him. He wants nothing to do with her, at least in the beginning. So the shockwave begins when that happens, because obviously, first and foremost, if there's children involved, they are the ones most easily affected right off the bat. Oh my God, mom and dad are splitting up, or, stepmom, stepdad, they're splitting up. If there's siblings, they get involved. I mean, it gets to be a mess. So that shockwave is now immediate. That's the first layer, okay? So now you have, in that split up, you now have not only the people involved, which is the epicenter, but then you have, we're going to call it wave one. It includes the immediate family, the kids, if there are any kids, okay? But in that same circle, it also affects the parents. You have person A's parents and person B's parents, who may or may not be involved with a relationship. And there may be some involvement, maybe everyone's gotten real close, the guy is, really in with her father, or, she's very good in with the mother on the other side, and, it's a family unit, and it sucks, because when it breaks up, obviously the parents are going to try to do their best to, good parents and people that think it through, try to do what they think is best for both people, as long as the situation is correct, and it is fair, and there's thought involved, and it's not just emotion-based. So ultimately, how I look at this is, you now have those people involved, okay, and they try to keep, good parents that aren't dramatic and they don't explode. They try to contain, why are things not working out? Maybe they will push people to work it out. Maybe they say, look, take a long break and come back together. Or they're going to say, hey, look, he never was really good to you. Let him go. That's what they'll tell the daughter. Or, the other side may say to the son, look, she did this, 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 and this. I think it's in your best interest to move on. And it was nice while she was around. And even though she wants to work it out, you know, maybe that's not the best person in your life because, you know, she's got all these issues. Okay. So that's the beginning part of the shockwave. All right. So then what happens is a friend finds out. Okay, and this could be his side or her side. This is kind of a universal at this point. You know, it doesn't really matter whose side you're taking, whether it's the dumper or the dumpee. They will latch on to any information that they get, or rumors, which is way worse. Rumors are the worst. Any factual information, you know, it's still not good to have that information out there. But even rumors are awful. So, you know, you end up having these people, I believe the term is a flying monkey, but it's actually, like, how I look at it, or the way I'm going to explain it, is you basically have this, you know, it's kind of like playing the game telephone. You get one person that knows, and then their friend tells another friend, but maybe leaves details out or adds details that aren't accurate. And that goes to a third person and a fourth person, and you can see how this snowballs. So, you know, let's use the female, because guys don't usually talk too much. So we'll say she says to her friend, well, you know, I can't believe he left me. I put all this love into him. I used to change the sheets every night, and I used to rub his feet before he went to sleep, and, you know, I used to do all these things for him. You know, I used to come upstairs and I'd look all good. He just ignored me. He didn't want anything to do with me. Whatever the case may be. Well, then she tells her best friend, says the best friend, look, this shouldn't go anywhere. That's what a normal person does. It shouldn't go anywhere. Okay, this is a person that's not going on a smear campaign. Well, that friend there, you know, sees Jill, another person, another acquaintance, and says, oh my God, Jill, listen, I just talked to Sally over here, and Sally got broken up with, and she's all upset. And she was saying that she did all these things, and he was also, though, he was a huge jerk. Okay? And, well, now she's added in another part. Okay? Then that person, okay, now she goes to Wanda and says, well, Wanda, did you hear? And now all of a sudden you have all these people in a row that are coming up with these slightly different stories. Okay? And now everybody is eventually hating on the ex-boyfriend for leaving. That's just the natural way it goes, it seems like, you know. Because you've got a lot of emotions in it. Now, on the guy's side, it could be opposite. You know, the guys will say, look, you know, she was a great woman for you. It's not working out. Or they'll say, look, she was a total B. And, you know, do you remember that time that, you know, you guys were at the golf course and she came over and smacked you in the face with a golf club because you said that her mama was fat? You know, then you turned around and you smacked her and knocked a tooth out and you kicked her dog and whatever else happens, you know, and maybe you two just aren't the best. This is a wise move, right? So then that branches out. And that goes to another friend. And then that friend tells his other friend. And we've got John and Bill and Blake and Tanner's involved. I mean, God, Tanner tells everybody everything. And, you know, now all of a sudden all this information. But what happens is that information starts to scatter because, you know, you have them come together. Now you've got the girls talking to the friends of the guys, okay? And now pretty soon those people go out. And now you have people that barely know these people, like acquaintances. And everybody's got a different story. And the more information that's leaked, okay, that wave gets bigger and it gets larger. And what happens is every time something is said or anytime misinformation is put out there, or even if it's accurate information, but then it gets construed, it makes the chances of reconciliation, if you're ever looking for that, it kills it. You are losing your ability to get that person back, if you even wanted that person back. I'm going to go with the fact that you're watching this means you may or may not want that person back in your life. Okay, if you do want that person back in your life, the last thing you want to be doing is bad-mouthing that person. I mean, if you're at home and, your dad's there and you're, I'm like, I'm so mad at her and whatever, and it stays between you and dad and you're just venting, that's fine. That makes total sense. Or, she's at home with her mother and she's like, God, he's such an asshole, but God, I love him so much, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this situation because I can't stop thinking about it, but he's a huge dick, and I did all this damage, and whatever the case may be, and it stays there. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like constant smear campaign. So if you have these two people that are split up, but they are constantly communicating, which is never a good thing. You want to not communicate. You want to stop what you're doing, and you don't want to make the situation any worse. You want to minimize the shockwave. That's what we're going to call it. You want to make sure that there is nothing said, that everything is quiet, because it doesn't help the situation. If she, in this situation, is constantly trying to talk to the guy that dumped her, okay, not only do her friends know and keep circling that information around to him, he wants space. He wants to have, distance. He doesn't want to talk to you. He needs time to think. And guys take forever to think. I mean, everybody thinks women are the complicated ones. And guys are straight, easy, square, very simple boxes. When it comes to that kind of stuff, it's actually not. If you have a guy that has any brain cells at all, or someone that tends to sit and think for a long time, it takes them forever. It takes a long time for that person to come around. And to think everything through. You got to weigh your pros and cons, and you got to decide, like, is this person someone that I will love even in a situation where maybe they don't deserve that love. So on her side, okay, she has to make the same choices. Okay, she has to decide, look, and this is all before you say anything. I mean, this takes a long time. You're talking months and months of work. You're not talking like in 2 days, because obviously in 2 days you're like, well, I love him, and he, that one time he took me to Applebee's and he bought me the extra dessert that I wanted, so I love him forever. Okay, well, whatever your excuse is, and you want to make sure that everything stays snug. You don't want that information getting out. So like I was saying, the mission is to keep the shockwave low, small, okay? What happens is when you let that shockwave get bigger, and when you start complaining and you guys keep fighting and you don't give each other that space, what happens is the more you fight, the more people see it. Because if you're fighting, other people are going to notice it and they're going to see it. And one, it's not mature. It's just not. If you love that person, and it's either side, if you love that person, the smartest thing to do is just shut your mouth, give them what they want, okay? If the dumper wants to go, let him go, or her go, okay? If it's, let him or her go, it doesn't matter. Because, frankly, they don't want to be around you. They don't respect you. They don't want anything to do with you. And you should give them that respect, okay? You can be mad about it, but you should give them that respect because you love and care about that person. The same goes the other way, though, okay? So the dumper person, okay, whichever, the guy or the girl, should also give respect and understand that it is going to hurt that other person badly, and should not talk to that person unless they have a change of heart, or they want to try and reconcile because they genuinely miss that person. Not like, oh, I'm lonely and I just need a body. Like, no, we don't need that, okay? So your goal is to remain quiet. Keep the shockwave down. And what happens is the tighter that you keep that circle, the tighter that you keep that circle, the more of a chance you have to have good communication later on, and you may be able to make things better. And who knows, you could actually get back together if you don't make your partner hate your guts. Because if you are constantly writing that person, and I'm referring to this from the dumper side, in regard to the Shockwave, if you are constantly writing that person and you are just obnoxious and you're just like, look, and it works for either gender. Oh, I miss you. Come home. I'll cook you food every night. Or I'll miss you. I'll wash your car every day. Or I'll fluff your pillow before bed. Or I'll start watching Golden Girls with you, all the episodes. All this stupid begging bullshit that's not necessary. Like, you have no self-respect, okay? So, what my point is that you don't want any of that to happen, okay? Your partner's not going to respect you. Your partner asks for space. You're not giving them space, okay? But by keeping that Shockwave small, even if you guys don't get back together, it's much better for both of your mental health to keep it contained to you. Family and friends can get involved, and that does make it a little messy, and that brings out the Shockwave a little bit. But if you can contain it and keep the rest of everyone around you, keep your mutual friends out of it, try to keep that down. Because, and here's where the second part of this comes, if you choose to not stay quiet and you choose to not respect that other person, and you are on a war path, and you decide, the hell with that person, we are going to just smear that person's reputation everywhere, and we're going to slander the hell out of them, and I don't care, I used to love them, but I hate their guts, and we're going to make it we're going to make their lives a living hell. All right, well, guess what? It works two ways, because not only are you trying to put as much damage on them, but that actually will come back around and damage you. And I'll explain it to you why. So when the person decides to start smearing, and it can be the dumpy or the dumper. The dumper could be like, she did all this bad stuff, and we hate her guts, or whatever, and that gets circled around. Well, now all of a sudden everybody in the area knows about it because it's a bad thing, and rumors make it way worse. Same with her side. Now if she's buying into it and she's doing the attacking on it, and they're both just going after each other and telling everybody and their brother, they're in the grocery store, the ladies trying to scan the thing, and the guy's like, do you know this person? Because she's the biggest bitch that ever lived. She's terrible. I don't like her, and she hurt my soul. And if you see her, you tell her that she needs to go jump in the river. That's the kind of stuff. And the sad part is that really happens. That kind of stuff happens. Or she's out with her friends at the club, and she has a weak moment. She sees a guy that might look like him. Oh my God! I miss Jeremy so much. I can't believe it. He was such an asshole, and I remember the time that we were camping, and he decided that we were going to take the tent down a day early, and I never forgave him for that. And that's just another thing, another problem. We'll throw it on the plate. Just another reminder of why he should be gone. Any excuse you come up with, you slam it. You just keep hitting them, and that Shockwave gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually what it does is it gets involved with your friends, and I'm going to even leave the families out of this. Let's just do the friendships and the people that you work with and anybody that's associated. Because what happens is this flows into the different areas of your life. And what happens is those areas have people that are also interconnected with other people, especially in smaller towns. And what happens is all these people now know a bit of the story. They don't know the whole story because no one knows the whole story. And there's always two sides to the story when it comes from the initial two people. But now you have stories being made up from people that don't even know who the people are. They just know of a story about these two people because it is spread out. So the wave is just like whoosh. And what happens is by then you have done so much damage, not only to your partner, but to yourself. Because your partner now knows that you went on a smearing campaign and they were out for blood and that you were out for blood. Now, if you would have kept your mouth shut and not done that, they may still have a tiny bit of respect for you, or have even built respect because you didn't act that way. But because you did act that way, you just took your problem. So they, when they were madly in love with you, they were here. Okay? They lost some respect for you. Well, you're down here. Well, now you got to the point of the breakup, you're down here. Okay? Now, if you stop and you love this person, you don't hurt them. The goal is not to hurt them. Your goal is to do what's best for your person. So if you love someone and they want to go, and you have to, this takes real love. I mean, like, this isn't something that you just tell somebody. You have to actually physically do this. If that person and you love them to death and they want to go, you let them go in peace. Okay? Because as long as they are happy, it should make you happy. And that's how it really should be. This isn't like a fake fairy tale. Dead serious, because that's what love is. When you love someone, you shouldn't be conditional on just you being in their life. Like, no, you should love that person even if they're happy by themselves or with someone else, because you love that person heart and soul. Okay? Is it fun for you? No. But when you love someone, it is beyond you. When you fall in love with someone for real, it is beyond just you. Because it's not about you. It's about that other person who smiles and laughs, and you want to make sure that they are happy and still smiling, whether you're in their life or not. That's what, in my opinion, true love really is. Okay? So, you don't want that shockwave. This is coming back around. See, if you really love and respect that person, you will give them that space. You will give them, because, you don't necessarily need that person back, or you don't necessarily even want them back, but you want them to be happy. And they can't be happy if you're fighting with them all the time, or saying bad things about them. No, they're still a person. And believe it or not, there's a lot of good in people. And just because you didn't get along under different circumstances doesn't mean that you weren't made to be together, or if the case was you just were so different, you should be happy for that person, because maybe they're going to find somebody that is better for them and they'll be happy. And you should, if you really love that person, you should be happy for them. Don't be mad at them. I mean, that's the part that I'll never understand. People that are in love and they just, well, I love her because she's with me, but if she doesn't want to be with me anymore, that ends love. Well, your love is fake, because your love, real love, and in my opinion, is kind of unconditional. I mean, did she cheat on you? That definitely takes a chunk off. You can care about somebody at that point, and you can lose love to a point, but yeah, when you get into cheating and stuff like that, that's not true love. True love is being flexible with somebody who's not out to, they're not out to ruin you, And I understand there's emotions involved and things like that, but yeah, I feel like by now you guys have got the gist. So on the other side of that spectrum now, okay, if you keep it calm and collected, you two might have a chance of maybe working something out, or maybe it won't work. But either way, the shockwave is small, and it doesn't make you guys look insane, okay? When you blast it out, and the shockwave is huge, and now everyone knows your business, and what happens is all of these people get wound up. They get caught up in the drama with you. So you've got Billy involved, and Tanner is still there, and Tanner loves to text everybody on his phone. And what you didn't even know was Earl. I don't know. I mean, we didn't even know how Earl found out. Earl found out from his mother's cousin's brother, and he's on Instagram, and they're like looking up posts that you used to have and commenting on it and saying, "Man, she was fat. No wonder why I left you." And it's all this dirty mess. And it gets worse and worse and worse. And what happens is person A, let's go back to that. When you were slandering, okay, the original two people, and they heard a rumor that the other guy was slandering them, they just get upset. And that pushes them away. Even if it's true or not true, it pushes them away. And she's the same way. And he's the same way. If either side has that, and you guys are just, oh my God, you're having drag-out brawls, texting 100 miles an hour all day long, it doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't solve anything. If you want to communicate, you communicate respectfully and in small amounts. You don't hurt your partner. You don't slam on them all day. You don't exhaust them, because all you're doing is you're driving them away by being overbearing. Women do this just as much as men. I know it's like a key note that men love to just harp on women because it's in their logic to try and fix it. No, don't do that, because you're just making yourself look like an idiot, and she doesn't want it. She doesn't want your attention. That's why you're split up. Get a clue. Get a clue. Take that attention away from her, okay? Make the shockwave smaller. Do what she wants you to do, which is the mature thing. Shut your mouth. Go out. Live your life, okay? She doesn't want you in her life, so take yourself out of it. It makes her happy, at least in the beginning. And, now you can be sad and you can go through the stages, but it keeps if your damage is that big, you can't come back from that. You will always have, the resentment will be so much higher if you have everyone else involved in this relationship dissolvement. I'm not going to say a breakup, because this can happen in divorce too. Divorces sometimes get wicked messy, even more than a regular breakup, because you got a lot more dynamics in it. Well, I heard that, Gary was going to take the dog, and it was his dog, but she really wanted the dog too. Who wants the dog? Oh, Tina wants the dog. Well, who the hell gives a shit? We just want to make sure that everyone is that everyone works out. You want to keep that, calm it down. So, if you learn anything about today, it should be keep the voices quiet. Don't rush. Guys always make the mistake of trying to repair things fast. No. God, no, don't do that. Because let's say 2 hours to a guy feels like eternity. Oh my God, I can't talk to her. Or I'm so mad at her, I don't want her to talk to me. And that other person is like, hey, I need weeks, months, years before I'll even think about speaking. Or never. Maybe they'll never speak to you again. That's always a possibility too. I've seen it. Oh my God, there's people in my life that, have turned around who has left me and they're back in 2 weeks. And I don't say a word. And then there's other people that I have a person who when I was maybe 19 years old, 20 years old, I had an 18-year-old girlfriend, and she just disappeared without a word. And I never heard from her again after we split up. And 6 months later, I found a note, and she was saying how she really missed me and how she thought that I was such a great guy, and she felt really bad that we split up. And she had to think about it because she was really mad at the time, but she had moved. So any chance I had to get back with her was out, just simply geographic at that point. But it was a nice gesture that she thought about it, she regretted her decision, and she came to me. And the reason why was because there was no BS. We just kept it quiet. So I had a relationship that went to hell, and everybody got involved. And it was maybe maybe my mid-20s, I had a relationship dissolve, and it's like everybody and their brother had a comment. You know, it was a small town. It was like practically on the page of the newspaper. Oh my God, these two separated, and you know, she was hanging out with some other dude immediately, and it turned so bad that even if you wanted to get back together, I would never bring myself to it. So, not that I ever wanted to, honestly. After that, I didn't want anything to do with her anyways. At that point, you know, I'm like, all right, goodbye, see you. But that's the shockwave. It's deciding how the angrier you are, and the more you guys communicate, and it's bad communication. Like, it's not even like working toward, and you should be pacing yourself. No, this is like bad communication. You're mean to each other, and you're just fighting, and it drags out, and that shockwave gets bigger and bigger, and all these people are involved, and then pretty soon it gets to the point where when you look around, no one likes anyone, and no one is going to recommend that you two get back together if you asked anyone. Given you guys can do whatever you want, and you could get back together, even if, you know, she may have knifed you in the middle of the night one night. You know, you're an adult. You can theoretically still get back together with that person if you really wanted to. I don't necessarily suggest it, but hey, if you're into chicks that want to knife you, or guys that, you know, maybe want to smother you with a pillow, and I guess that's your thing, okay? But either way, you know, I mean, I know bad things happen in relationships, and you heal and you learn, and you know that you're not going to make those mistakes again, and you're hoping your partner doesn't make those mistakes again, you know. But if you ever wanted a shot with that person, or you just love them enough and you care about that person, even if you don't want to get back together, you deliberately do not slander that person. You do not. You love for them just like you were in the relationship. And what I mean by that is you say positive things about them, even if it hurts. And you don't have to lie. Don't lie. Like, don't, you know, they're not your best friend anymore, you know, but they do still have good qualities. You know, maybe she was smart and she was very thoughtful sometimes, or maybe she, you know, surprised you one day, or you guys had a beautiful dinner, and she worked so hard on it before you came home from work, or you guys did a picnic, or whatever it may be. You know, that's great. The same with him. Man, he worked really hard. He always was trying to do the best for the family. I mean, sometimes he was an asshole because he couldn't deal with the stress very well, but, you know, he always had our best interest in mind. He was always there to protect us, and, you know, well, you know, maybe he's not such a bad guy. Okay? You love those people, and you have feelings for those people. That's what you do. You want to be on good terms, mature terms. You don't want to be fighting and yelling. You know, if he tells you, don't talk to me, I need space, don't talk to him. Give him his space. And don't get everyone else involved. Don't. Because it just makes it way worse for you. And then you look like an idiot because you can't keep your mouth shut and you can't keep your business to yourself. You know, that's a lot of it. And it works both ways. You know, guys will look at the guy and be like, listen, you should have just shut your mouth, man. You know, you should have talked to a couple people at the most that were like a real close friend that you can be a confidant with. And that's it. But instead you decided to pull out a bullhorn, and you're going up and down Main Street telling everybody in town what a big hooker she is. And, you know, and it's not even accurate information. So, yeah, if you really... I look at it from two angles. If you want to get back with this person because you love them, you need to give them the respect and the time and the love that they need. And if by love, it can be love from a distance. If you have no interest in getting back together with this person, you still give them love and space and time because you care about them. And that's why you do it. You don't do it if you have no interest in getting back to it. It's still the same process. You still care about that person because you can love them either way. Whether you want to get back with them or not, it doesn't matter. Okay? And that's from either side. you know? So I hope that this has helped you. My suggestion is the next time that, you know, you hear a rumor, you end that rumor. Or if you're in the middle of fighting, you immediately take your phone and you set it down. If you have to communicate only about business. And that's it. Short and sweet. No extra talk. You don't need the extra talk. All the extra communication does is muddy the water. When you separate and you have that distance and that shockwave is very tiny, you actually, believe it or not, can miss that other person no matter what happens on either side. The dumper could very well miss the dumpee. You know, and just because you're a dumper doesn't mean that you stop loving that person. You know, and I feel like people going through these relationship bundles and divorces and stuff, they forget that. You know, they forget that there still can be something on the other end. People don't think about that. So, all right, well, I'm going to wrap this up, but if you have any questions on this, feel free to put it in the comments. But yeah, the goal is keep the circle small, keep the drama to nothing. And remember, you're doing this for somebody that you love. You know, you're going through that. If you're divorcing and, you know, you're not okay with the divorce and you're going through the hard path, your best bet is distract yourself. Do not confront the person. No, because if you love that person, you have to make that decision yourself. You have to know. You have to be willing to understand yourself. You have to love that person. You need to give them their space and their time. And if you're not willing to do that, and you're like, nope, we're going to fix it right now, or it's never going to happen. Well, you're in the wrong mindset, because that's never going to work. You're never going to get your wife back if she's looking to get rid of you, or you're never going to get your husband back if you don't give him the space that he needs. It's just not going to happen. It's backwards. And I realize what I'm saying probably doesn't make a lot of sense, because you would think, man, well, if I'm not chasing them, or I'm not constantly texting them all day, they're going to forget about me, or they're going to, you know, they're going to forget who I am, and they're not going to love me if I don't constantly put myself in front of their face, or if I'm not if I'm not on their phone, they're going to not remember. It's just not real. It's just not a real thing. They think about you more when you're not there, because that person cared about you. And this is kind of like a real talk before I end this video. Those people don't forget you, just like you don't forget them. And true love, when you feel like you're in true love and you feel like there's a person out there that you know and you've loved and you've cared about, you will do whatever you have to do to make sure they're happy, even if it's at the expense of your own happiness. Because that's the greatest gift of love you can give. People don't remember that. They don't. So you have to make a decision if you're in the middle of all this. Are you going to buck up and give them what they ask for, leave them alone, give them their space, do it out of love? Or are you not really in love with them and you just miss their company? Or you're just mad because it wasn't your choice? It's not love. You're selfish. You're selfish and you're mad. That's not love. It's just not. And you can disagree with me all you want, but you're not going to change my standpoint on it. When you love somebody, you want the genuine best thing for them, even if it's not you. So remember that. The next time you're going to slander your partner, or you're going to throw them under the bus, or you're going to, I don't know, push them in front of a bus. Sometimes, you know, that might be good too. But you have to think beyond your emotions. And emotions run real high, especially during the stressful situations you're in. So I think that even though this is a much longer video than we normally do here, I think it's a very important one. I think that this might be the most important video for people to understand. Don't put your business out there to everyone, because any chance you have, if you care about that person, not even for selfish reasons like getting back together, but just don't put that on people. Don't drag your friends into it. Just have an ear to lean on, one person or something. Your family's going to tell you other news too. It's not always the best, and they don't always know the situations. Just remember, when you're going through these situations, no matter what you do, you are loved by somebody, and you're not alone, and you will survive, and you will get through it. But just remember your focus. Take a half hour. Shut your phone off. Don't just silence it. Shut it off. Put it in a drawer. Go take a shower and really sit there and think quietly and say, do I love this person enough to where I would do anything for them? Really think about it. And if you come out of that shower and you go, I don't know, okay, that's fair. That's better than a no. Leave your phone in the drawer. Go do something else for a half hour. Okay, take a break. Continue your day. Go the next day. I want you to repeat the same thing. Shut your phone off. Take a shower. Think about that again. Do you love that person enough where you will do anything for them, including things that hurt you? And you may find yourself saying yes. And if you are willing to do anything, you will follow through on this. You will follow through, because if you're really in love, that love is stronger than anything else. And you just need to decide what you want to do with that love. And I'm going to tell you what, hating on someone is not love. It's not. So I'm going to end right here. I want you to take away from this video patience, kindness, even when you're sad and angry. Remember, your partner's someone that you really cared about at one point in time, and they may have hurt you badly. And in your mind, they don't deserve anything. And on the other end, you probably did some really stupid crap, and your partner is mad at you for it, and there's no way you can ever get around it. But you know what? You learn the error of your ways, and you have to move on from that. But if you love that person, you're going to work it out, and you're going to let them go if that's the choice that they want to make. Because that's what happens. Because if you keep fighting and you keep arguing and you keep begging, that's not love. That's selfish immaturity. So, all right. This has been a longer video from Drive Life Thoughts. I'm actually parked now. Park Life Thoughts. I guess we could branch the channel out if we wanted to. But either way, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really appreciate you guys listening. If you've actually listened to this entire video, let me know in the comment, because I'll be shocked if you actually watch this entire video, because it's very, very long. I just realized how long it's been going. So, take care. Just know you're loved, and love other people, and take care of them. Even if in the moment you don't really like them, love everybody. It's a good tactic. All right? Have a good night.